Let's talk about something that's being stolen from you every single day. And it's all happening right under your nose. So before we dive in, I want you to just take a second and really think about this. What is the single most valuable asset you have? Now, you might be thinking, oh, it's my money or it's my time. And those are good answers, but what we're digging into today argues it's neither of those. The real answer is something way more fundamental. Because that most valuable asset, well, it's the target of a daily heist. And the crazy part is, you might not even realize you're the victim. And look, this isn't some one-time event. This is a continuous, systematic robbery. From the moment you wake up to the second you fall asleep, the heist is on. So what is actually being taken from you? It's your attention. But it's so much more than that. Attention is the gateway to everything else, to your focus, your ability to do deep thinking, and ultimately, your power to create instead of just consume. They're stealing the very things that make us human. So how are they pulling this off? Well, what's so fascinating is that it's not some kind of new, futuristic brain hacking technology. They're actually using a feature that's been built into you for thousands of years. The source material for this uses a really powerful metaphor. It says, you are like a curious deer. Your natural instinct to explore, to understand the world, to, see what that noise in the bushes is, that has been turned into the bait for a trap. And this comparison just shows the shift perfectly. 10,000 years ago, information was scarce. Your curiosity was a literal survival tool. It helped you find food, it helped you avoid predators. But today, we live under an absolute avalanche of information. And that same instinct is now a weakness. It's a button that can be pushed to keep you scrolling forever. And this trap, it isn't an accident. It's part of a massive system, an entire economy that's been built specifically to capture that curious deer. It all boils down to one key metric. Inside these companies, they call it the time spend metric, and it is their number one goal. Why? Because the more time you spend on their platform, the more ads they can show you. And the more ads they show you, the more money they make. It creates this simple, kind of brutal equation. Your attention is captured, which leads to more time spent on the platform, which directly translates to more ad revenue for them. In this model, you are not the customer. Your attention is the product that's being sold. And this creates a huge, fundamental conflict of interest. Think about it. Their goal is to maximize your time on their screen, whatever the cost to you. Your goal is to actually live and improve your life, which mostly happens off-screen. These two goals are in direct opposition. The main tool they use to win this battle is the algorithm. A decade ago, you subscribed to someone and you actually saw their content. Your choice mattered. But now, that choice has been stolen. The algorithm feeds you whatever it thinks will trigger your inner animal, that impulsive, emotional part of your brain, just to get a reaction. And this forces creators into a corner, having to make the same sensationalist content over and over just to stay visible. So this system pushes all of us into one of two fundamental states of being. And understanding the difference between them is the absolute first step to taking back control. On the one hand, you have the consumer. You can think of this as our passive animal mode. It just reacts to whatever stimulus is put in front of it. On the other hand, you have the creator. This is our active, uniquely human mode. It controls impulses, it thinks deeply, and it builds new things. And here is the single most important rule of this entire game. These two modes are mutually exclusive. You cannot be consuming and creating at the same time. The act of passive consumption literally shuts down the part of your brain you need for active creation. This quote puts it just perfectly. To think, you have to stop consuming. To create, you have to consciously turn off the feed. It's as simple as that. So, if consumption is the trap, what's the key to escaping it? Well, the answer is surprisingly simple. And it's something our modern world has taught us to be terrified of: boredom. Here's a simple 4-step plan to reclaim your mind. First, you just stop. You cut off all information intake. Just silence. Second, you have to endure. You have to push through that initial, really uncomfortable wave of boredom. It will pass. Third, you let your mind wander. After all the noise quiets down, your brain will naturally start to roam free. And that leads to step 4. you activate creator mode. Your brain starts making new connections, sparking insights that can only come from that quiet. And this doesn't require some week-long silent retreat. You can start with just 10 to 20 minutes a day. That's all it takes. It's such a tiny investment of time, but it lets you deliberately switch your brain from that passive consumer mode back to the active creator mode. Because what's really happening in that quiet space? For the first time all day, your brain isn't just taking in new data. It's finally getting the chance to process all the information it's already consumed, to connect different ideas, to solve problems in the background, and to generate brand new insights. Boredom isn't emptiness, it's the brain's processing time. So this brings us to the final, crucial question. The whole system is designed to keep you, as the curious deer, endlessly consuming inside that trap. But you have the power to step out of it. The choice every single day is yours.